This is a video review of Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Voyager class Galvatron. And I gotta say, he does not strike me as a Galvatron. Galvatron's supposed to be purple with orange and yellow and blue and gray highlights, not gray with a couple of blue and gold highlights and that's it. This strikes me as much more of like a Motormaster-like character than a Galvatron, which is a bit of a shame because I really would have liked this guy a lot if he were just a flaming purple with, like I said, some orange and yellow and blue and gray highlights. He's a fine figure as he is. He's just he doesn't live up to the name, which is a little bit unfortunate because I was hoping a lot more from a Galvatron when I heard the name. But anyway, the figure itself is quite nice. I love the cab. The cab looks really nice. Doesn't have many. It does have transformation scenes, so they kind of make sense with the cab. Like you might expect something on the wind. With the wind spoiler up here, or say with the door right here, or even with some of the parts we might use again to the engine. All these seams, even though they look a little bit weird like this one right here, they kind of make sense with the truck mode, so they're not bad. From the back, it's a little bit gappy, but it's not bad. The worst part is that you can see the legs back here. But that's not, again, too bad, because you can see that the feet here make the trailer hitch, and the only real problem is that it's a little bit gappy back here, but otherwise it's fine. The big problem with this figure is that the feet don't peg in at all. They try to, but they just come apart all the time. And that means that sometimes he has problems rolling. This time he kind of works. He rolls pretty well, but sometimes it's just almost impossible for whatever reason get the legs to balance right so that all 6 wheels are on the ground right, and then if you try and press him he just moves like that, and then the friction of the, say, the legs grinding against the ground just cause him to stop. So that's a bit unfortunate. Now moving on to the transformation, some people are really going to hate this transformation because he is a shell former. Well, I actually really like it because I think it's clever and it takes a truck mode and turns it into something that looks nothing like a truck, and I love when Transformers do that. So Transformer, you take these, you pop them out, and considering that these bars right here are the only things that really keep the legs in place at all, I do wish that these little tabs right here that go into those holes, I wish that they were a little bit longer so that these wouldn't pop out as much. When you get used to the figure and how to handle it to make sure that they don't pop out, it's not that big of a problem, but when you first get them, they'll pop out all the time, which is a little bit unfortunate. Now you pop those down like that, and then you turn them around, you can see his chest right there. You rotate the legs forward like this. You'll take his heels, pop them out. They'll click into place very nicely. Then you move the feet down like this. And that's the feet done. Now to transform the upper body, we're going to take the wheels here, pop them out like this and like this. That will free up the cab from the chest. There's little tabs that go into little slots in here. You'll bend the cab back like this. Grab the arms, pull them forward like this. And then you'll rotate them out on these hinges here, and then they'll click into place on the body. Then you'll take the head, you'll rotate it up, and it will snap into place like that. That leaves this giant bit of kibble back here, but the kibble here actually folds away in a really, really neat way. What you do is you fold this little bit forward first, and then you will pop these out simultaneously, and then the reason why I do that is because you want to follow this track, but it's very easy for it to jump off the track like that. So you pop these out at the same time so it follows the track down, and then the wind vane here will peg into the back of it right here, and then you fold it back up like this onto its back, and it will snap into place. There's a little tab on this section right here that will tab into the back of his neck there, like that. And then you get him all posed up, and this is Galvatron in robot mode. And this is actually a quite nice robot mode. I do wish it were a little bit less plain. It does have lots of paint on it, but he's just so gray, especially in the face right here. The face is awful because it looks nice, has lots of nice detail. Like I love the horns right here, but you can't really make out much of the detail. If it had been picked out in just any color at all, it would have looked a lot better. And really the same goes for the rest of the body. Just anything to pick out more of these details would have been great. Now, moving on, the posability on this guy is kind of interesting. The head is okay. It can go side to side. It can look up a little bit, and it can look down a fair amount, and it can even rock from side to side like this. The big problem is that when you start turning the head, it does not move the same way. Like, you can't look it up and down when you look it to the left, and you can only barely rotate from side to side. And that's even a little bit of a problem, because when you do that, he automatically looks a little bit to the side, or he tilts his head a little bit when he does it. So the head is a little bit frustrating, although it can basically do what you want it to do. The arms are really fine. The only annoying part is that sometimes this will look a little bit odd if you don't put it down, and it is a little bit annoying, but otherwise it's fine. The arms go forward and back. They are a little bit limited by the backpack here. They go in and out, rotate above the elbow. They have a double joint at the elbow, and they are basically exactly what you would want from them. No wrist articulation, though, although I don't know how important that might be to you. And the legs are where it gets weird, because what happens is that the leg joints go in at an angle. They're not orthographic to the body. They don't go straight in at a 90 degrees to the body. They go in at an angle that's like 45 degrees, which is really weird. When you get used to it, it's not that bad, because you just move the leg forward and back like that. And it's a fairly natural feeling motion when you get used to it, but it's not like just moving a leg back and forth. And it's kind of weird, and it does in a way limit his articulation a little bit, just because to get it into certain positions that you might want can sometimes be awkward. But it's not too terrible. It does work. It's just unexpected the first time you handle it. His knees are also a little bit limited, like they can't go full 90 degrees, and then his thigh up here is very short, and both of those are a bit unfortunate. They make it so his legs aren't quite as expressive as they should be. But he has wonderful angles. They go back a lot, forward a lot, and side to side a lot. So he can stand stable in any pose you put him in, and it's just not going to be an issue, because his feet will be planted down there, and that is great. That is the thing that I love most about this figure, kinda. I love that most about the robot mode. As far as the overall figure, I love the transformation the most, because you get that really cool truck mode that turns into something that doesn't really look like a truck at all, and it really hides it, because even though he does end up with this big backpack, well, relatively big, it folds up so much, which is nice. What makes it work is that from the front, the main body here is a very light gray. So it means that all this back here is very dark, so when you're just looking at it from a color standpoint, even though if you were to shine light from it, it wouldn't work, light from the back, it wouldn't work this way. From a color standpoint, if you just look at him, his backpack does not interrupt his silhouette. So he just looks like what his robot mode actually is without any kibble, which is very nice. So, the only thing really left to talk about would be his gun right here, and his gun is okay. It doesn't peg into the side or underside of his arm like that, so it's not really a Megatronish or Galvatron-ish gun, which is another knock against him being called Galvatron. But you can put it into his hand, and it will look like his arm just turned into a gun, which is kind of nice, except that it's kind of at an angle. Like, his arm goes straight out like this, but then it angles like that, and you can't really turn it. So that's a bit weird, and the other thing is that it's very big and heavy, and it does make his arm wobble a lot. It can't support it as well as it should. But you can get into some nice poses like this, where it's like a rifle that is being supported by both arms. And that does look nice. You can get him into some nice poses like that, and yeah, that's about it for this guy. He's a very interesting figure. I like the concept a lot. I wish his execution were a little bit better, like his, I wish his thighs were longer, his hips, I wish they went in just straight like this rather than like this. I wish they had found a way to fold his backpack even more, because if they had, that would have been amazing. And I wish his legs pegged together in vehicle mode, but other than that, he is a nice figure. And I do quite like him. He doesn't have the magnificent presence of Voyager Grimlock or the technical wizardry of Voyager Optimus Prime, but he's not bad. I do quite like him, and I do recommend him. Anyway, this has been a video review of Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Voyager class Galvatron. I do recommend him. I review Transformers, Power Rangers, Digimon, Macross figures, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. I've got some links in the video description down below, a Facebook link, and some playlists. Check them out if you want, and thank you for watching. Have a great day.